Hi guys, welcome back to the Totally Magic channel and a trick, not a new trick, but one that we would refer to normally as a classic or an oldie. But I thought it would be interesting to do a series of magic that I grew up with in the 60s and 70s that some of you may not have seen before, and I thought it'd be interesting for me to present these for you for the first time. So we'll call this series the Retro series. So let's get straight into the performance. So what I've got here is a deck of 52 cards. Now, although I could shuffle these cards, it doesn't make much difference because you're going to select a card, not physically, but mentally. So as we shuffle these up, you can see they are just a regular deck of cards. What I'd like you to do is to think of any card. And while you're doing that, I'll tell you now that earlier on I had a premonition about something that was about to happen. All will be revealed. So, have you got a card? Okay, so you're now thinking of one of these cards in this pack. Now what I'd like you to do is to tell me just the value, not the suit, just the value. So was it a 5, an ace, a king? So what was your card? A 10. So it had a value of 10. Okay, what we'll do is we shall go through and find all of the 10s. There's one right there in the middle. Like that. So you're now thinking from this pack of one of these 4 cards. For the first time, tell me and everyone what was the card you were thinking of. The 10 of hearts. That was the card that you were thinking of. Now, could I have possibly known that? And could that be my premonition? Well, you see, the strange thing about this is that you didn't pick any of the other 3 10s. And I'm glad you didn't. You see, if you had picked the 10 of spades, then that would have been the wrong card to pick. And I wrote that on the back. If you had picked the 10 of diamonds, then that would have been wrong as well. And if you had picked the 10 of clubs, then that would have been the wrong card for you to pick. You see, all of these cards here, I knew that you wouldn't pick any of these. And just to prove that, I wrote on the backs of these that it would be the wrong card. If you had picked this one or this one or this one, it would have been wrong. Or this or this. These would have been wrong. Wrong and wrong. If you had picked this one, the 9 of clubs, close, but it would have been the wrong card for you to pick. And the same with these. If you had picked one of these, or this one, or this one, or this, and we could go through all 51 cards on here, it would have been wrong, wrong, and wrong. Even these, 4 of diamonds, wrong. Ace of diamonds, wrong. Wrong, wrong, everything wrong. But you picked this card, the 10 of hearts. And I'm glad you picked that one, because that makes my premonition absolutely right. And I did know that you would pick the right card. So here is the tutorial for this very retro classic piece of magic. It's been around for years. There's loads of variations out there. Let's get straight into it. I'll tell you the method and then I'll go over some alternative routines and deliveries. So you require a regular deck of cards. What I recommend is digging out one of those old packs of cards that you got tucked away in the bottom drawer, getting all grubby, yeah, because you've got to deface them by writing on them. So in my case, I've got a deck of cards and I'm going to split them so I have 26 in each half. But what 26? Well, all you've got to make sure is that in each half you have a pair of values. So in here you would have 2 kings, there'll be 2 kings in here, 2 10s in here, 2 10s there, 2 7s, 2 7s, and so on. So each half has a pair of values. In terms of what the suit is, doesn't matter. Mix it up a bit. Makes no odds about the suits that you have. So once you've divided them, you then have to write some words on here. Now, I have performed this trick for many years, and some of the variations I do, I used to deliver this with the words this and that on the backs. So if they chose a card, I would say, I knew this would be your card, but it wouldn't be that card or that card or that card. So you give the appearance that 51 cards have the word that on them, only theirs has the word this. You could write yes, no, true, false, whatever you want on there. I've also got a similar setup where I've got 26 red back and 26 blue back, and you could make it appear as though they managed to think of the only card that's got a blue or red back. So, but I'll leave that up to you. What I like about this one is it's different. So you've got the word wrong and you've got the word right, okay, on both halves. You write that on all of them. Make sure you write it in the middle, not too close to the edge, and you're all done. It's then advisable when you put these together to know where the middle break point is. So what I've got is my break point is the 9 of clubs and 8 of spades. That is my middle point. So do whatever you need to do to make sure you know where the midpoint is. That's it. Now, if you wish, you can do a false shuffle, but because the spectator isn't actually picking a card, it makes no difference physically because they're going to be choosing a card mentally. So as the routine starts, you ask them to think of a card, and if they think of a card, let's say they're thinking of a 7, you spread the deck. They can see all the cards. You then say to them, just tell me the value. So in our case, it's the 7. So you go through. Now, as far as we're concerned, we know that there's definitely going to be 2 7s in one half and 2 7s in the other half. So kind of mix it up a bit. I can see 1 7 there. As I go through, there's another 7 here. And I can see there's a 7 there. So I'm looking for one more 7, which must be in this half, and I pull that out there. So these two came from here, these two came from here. Now, before you gather up the cards, you need to ask them which card they're thinking of. Now, in the performance, they chose one of these cards. If they choose one of these cards, which comes from this half, you don't have to do anything. You gather those cards up and they're all in the right order. And the reason I'm saying that is because these two cards have got the word right on them. The cards that these came from are here. All of the ones that have got the word wrong on them are at the front of the pack here, which is exactly what we need. So we don't have to do anything with this. However, if they said one of these cards was there, say the 7 of diamonds, then as you gather the cards, remember our center point here. I need to cut the pack, so don't make a big deal of it. Just gather the cards up and just do that. Simple. And put them to one side. You've cut the pack on there. Now, if you want to prepare yourself as to what they've chosen, if you can't remember, as you gather these cards up, just glimpse that card. Now it says right on there. That means I've got to convince the audience that 51 cards have the word right on, and theirs has the wrong card written on it. So they've picked the 7 of diamonds. Let's put that over there. Now, of course, these two have got the correct words on there, and this one has the word wrong on it. So then we come to displaying all 3 of the rejected 7s to show the word right on them. This one's got wrong, so I've got to hide that. Now do that in any way you like. You can just gather these up and just do a straightforward flustration where you show the back of the parent 7 to be right, in which case if you had chosen that, then my premonition would have been right. The 7 of hearts would have been right, and the 7 of clubs would have been right as well. Just convince them that all 3 cards have the same word on. You then turn these face down like that. You turn attention to the pack and you pick this up and you turn it over and you start to go through these. Remember, only 26 of these have got the right word written on it. So you say, if you had chosen this one or this one or this one, then my premonition would have been right. And I put a few cards to the back. If you watch the performance, I put a few cards to the back for a reason. And then I can then say, if you had picked the 6 of spades, it would have been the right card for you to choose. The Jack of clubs would have been right, and start to go through in a very haphazard way of just throwing the cards messily on the table. Remember, don't go beyond halfway because you'll start to reveal the other word. So just when you get to about here, then flip the whole pack over. Remember, we put a few cards under here, and that was for a reason, because now I can go through and say, if you had picked a 5 of hearts, that would have been the right card for you to think of. The 2 of clubs, the right. The ace of clubs, right. And then just throw the whole lot down. And because you've written the words in the centre of the card, you can push these around without fear of revealing the other word. It looks like 51 cards would have been right if they had picked one of those. But they picked this one, the 7 of diamonds. That was the wrong card for you to think of. And then you reveal the word wrong. So I think that plays really well with this effect. It's great. I love performing this because when you think about it, it's almost impossible that someone just thinks of a card and it's the one that's got a different coloured back, a different word on it to all the others. Have a play around with that. I think you'll enjoy this and have some fun with it. Till next time, take care.